Under the strategic blueprint of Operation Barbarossa, the fall of Leningrad was never meant to be a long, drawn-out affair. The German High Command intended for its capture to precede the assault on Moscow, aiming for a total victory as early as July, or at the latest, the first weeks of August 1941. Acting on Adolf Hitler's direct and merciless order, the Wehrmacht was commanded to seize and liquidate the city at any cost. To achieve this, the enemy directed its most elite formations toward the northern front. From the southwest, surging through the Baltic states, came German Army Group North, a massive juggernaut representing a staggering quarter of the entire invasion force. At the tip of this spear moved the steel avalanche of the 4th Panzer Group, a force designed for one thing: the total destruction of Soviet resistance. In the opening weeks of the war, the momentum of the German tank units was terrifying. On average, they advanced 30 kilometers a day, and on certain days, they covered over 50 kilometers in a single 24-hour leap. This allowed them to cross most of the distance from the border to their final objective, Leningrad, in what seemed like one unstoppable jump. At this point, we have to ask you, do you think any defense in the world in 1941 could have realistically been prepared for such an unprecedented armored speed? Germany certainly did not expect to meet a cohesive, multi-layered defensive wall so far from the border. However, by June 27th, the Soviet Union began the frantic construction of the Luga defense line. On July 1, a specialized defense commission was established under Andrei Zhdanov, and by July 5, a task force was formed under Lieutenant General Konstantin Pyadyshev. This defensive milestone stretched for 250 kilometers from the Gulf of Finland to the ancient shores of Lake Ilmen. Tens of thousands of Leningraders, mostly women, students, and the elderly, labored day and night. They dug hundreds of miles of anti-tank ditches and installed concrete pillboxes. Many of these workers were under constant, merciless aerial bombardment by the Luftwaffe, yet they refused to leave their posts. Imagine being a civilian digging in the mud while enemy planes circle overhead. How do you think that kind of pressure changed the resolve of the defenders? The situation on the front worsened by the hour. On July 6th, Soviet forces were forced to abandon Ostrov, and just a day later, the loss of Pskov created a direct threat to Leningrad. The Germans expected to seize the town of Luga immediately. Prisoners captured on July 9th confirmed that General Reinhardt's 41st Motorized Corps was pushing toward the city by the shortest possible route. On July 10th, the vanguard of the Nazi forces reached the Plyussa River. Here, the regular Red Army stood side by side with the People's Militia, factory workers and teachers who had received their rifles only hours prior. The German divisions met stubborn resistance. Centers of defense changed hands multiple times. A major role in repelling the tanks was played by Colonel Odintsov's artillery group, which provided devastatingly accurate fire. By July 14th, the 6th Panzer Division, assisted by the Brandenburg Regiment, managed to capture 2 vital bridges at Ivanovskoye. Simultaneously, a reinforced motorized battalion from the 1st Panzer Division reached the Luga River near Bolshoy-Sabsk, creating a bridgehead on the eastern bank by 10 p.m. For days, fierce battles continued against the cadets of the Kirov Infantry School. Do you believe the presence of these student soldiers caught the professional German officers off guard? The German blitzkrieg began to stall. Marshal Vasilevsky later recalled that the fighting was so intense there were no pauses. It often turned into brutal hand-to-hand combat. General Franz Halder noted in his diary that by August 1, Army Group North had lost 42,000 men without achieving a breakthrough.
the offensive was effectively suspended.
While the Germans regrouped and postponed their offensive 6 times due to supply issues and internal disagreements, the Soviet side reinforced the city's defenses. It wasn't until July 30 that Hitler ordered the offensive to resume, aiming to link up with the Finnish army. To support this, the 8th Air Corps was transferred from Army Group Center. 3 German operational groups were formed: North, targeting Gatchina; Shimsk, targeting Novgorod; and a central group under Manstein. The German plan was to destroy the defenders on the far approaches to the city, bypassing the Luga sector from both sides. Despite significant reinforcements, the density of Soviet troops remained dangerously low. For instance, the 177th Rifle Division held a 22-kilometer front while facing 3 elite enemy divisions simultaneously. On July 28th, General Zakharov proposed a counteroffensive to strike the enemy at Strugi Krasnie, but the Germans struck first. On August 8th, the 41st Motorized Corps launched its assault from the Sabsk bridgehead, followed 2 days later by the 56th Motorized Corps in the Novgorod direction. Although the Germans initially progressed only 5 kilometers, their 1st Panzer Division eventually pierced the line. General Hopner immediately threw the 6th Panzer and 1st Infantry Divisions into the breach. By August 15th, German units reached the Narva-Gatchina road. Meanwhile, in the north, the 1st and 58th Infantry Divisions attacked Kingisepp. After heavy fighting, Narva was abandoned, and the Soviet 8th Army was pushed back toward the Oranienbaum bridgehead. In the south, the 11th and 21st Infantry Divisions broke through toward Novgorod, capturing Shimsk on August 12th. Despite Marshal Shapashnikov's orders to hold the city to the last man, Novgorod fell after brutal street fighting by August 19th. Soon after, German forces seized Trudovo, cutting the vital October Railway.
The weakest German blow was in the center, toward Luga itself. Here, the 56th Corps pinned down the defenders to prevent them from reinforcing the flanks. They met fierce resistance from Colonel Mashoshin's 177th Division. It was during these battles that the commander of the SS Polizei Division, General Mulverstedt, was killed in action. However, the breakthroughs at Novgorod and Gatchina made the Luga position tenable. By August 24, the town of Luga was finally evacuated, and shortly after, the Luga Kettle encirclement was formed near Severskaya. Trapped in the dense forests, General Astanin's forces fought until mid-September. Over 20,000 were captured, and 10,000 fell during breakout attempts.
In your opinion, was the tragic loss of the Luga Group a necessary sacrifice to buy the city 3 weeks of preparation, or could this encirclement have been avoided? The defense of the Luga line delayed the enemy on the approaches to Leningrad for 3 vital weeks. This time allowed the leadership to prepare new lines and form the reserves that would save the city during the long siege. We truly value every single one of our subscribers. Your interest in these stories allows us to keep exploring the truth of history. What is your opinion on the Luga defense? Was it a strategic masterpiece or a tragic necessity? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe and hit the like button. Your support means everything to us.